Shalom. So today we look at how women, I know not all women, some women lead righteous men to transgress against the Most High, right? So this is Genesis chapter 16, verse 1. It says, Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarah. This is a thing, right? Sometimes a lot of men will know what is right and what is wrong, but because of hearkening to the woman at the wrong time, right? You have to discern to say, hey, okay, what she's saying is not against the word of the Most High, so I can do it. But what does the law say about dealing with foreign women, dealing with strange women, right? It says, and Abraham hearkened. Why? Why would he do it? He did not do it of his own intention, but because of that weakness when it comes to women, and a lot of women know that they do have power over a lot of us, right? So we're gonna go to see whether Abraham knew or not, or if he was just unaware. So this is Genesis 24 and verse 1. It says, And Abraham was old and well stricken in age. As we can see, he was much older than back then, right? So at this time he was what? Verse 3. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell. You see, he knew this law. He knew it from the beginning not to make marriages with other nations, right? He made a covenant with the servant. Don't get a strange woman for my son. So let's jump back to Genesis chapter 16, verse 1. Verse 2, it says, And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. What happened? He knew better, but he listened to the woman what? Transgressing against the Most High. It's just that the scripture says, obey your parents, right? Yes, if your mother or father tells you to do this and do that, you're going to do it. But what if your mother and father is telling you to go and buy pork? Should you? No, it says obey the parents in the Lord, right? You obey, just like if you have a husband who is telling you to do things that you know are against the scripture, guess what? You don't do it. It doesn't mean that you are disrespecting or you are being an adversary to him, but he's doing what? Leading you to sin, right? So it says, verse 3, And Sarah, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abraham to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw, meaning when Sarah saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. What's happening here now? The jealousy. Well, at least it wasn't bad in this time, because back then when women were jealous, they were jealous of what? Not being able to give an heir to the husband. Today women are jealous for just a thought. They can just think about something and be jealous, right? So back then this was important. To give the husband a son was the most one of the most important thing, and it was a great honor, especially that you see that you have a righteous man, or he's doing, a certain way, he's living a certain way. The first thing you want to do is to raise up a son after him, just to show how much you reverence that man, and also naming the son after the father, so that at the end of the day you'll always remember that name, right? So you always pass on the name. The seed and the name goes hand in hand, right? It says, and Sarah said unto Abraham, my wrong be upon thee. Okay, you see, she know it was wrong, right? I had given my maid into thy bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. But Abraham said unto Sarah, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. No, she's in your hand, Sarah. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. So you see what's happening here? He knew that his wife hated the maid, but he allowed the maid to be in her hands. Why would you do that? You already see the jealousy in your wife. Why would you do that? How you know that Sarah was dealing terribly with her? With her? Listen, it says, but Abraham said unto Sarah, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. She fled. She ran away. It's because of the abuse. She was no longer treating her like a normal maid because of that jealousy of her having an heir, a firstborn, right? Thinking that that son would be getting all the promises that the Messiah promised her, just because of her own misunderstanding. But the whole point of this is to say, women, some of you know the power and dominion you have over your husband. You know that your husband will listen to you, right? A king can go out there and counsel with his advisors and everybody, but guess what? That pillow talk, yes, he's gonna honor his pillow talk as well. So when he comes back home after a hard day challenging the world out there, he wants to hear what you have to say on the matter. When you know that he trusts in your decisions, don't lead him astray. All right? And righteous men need to be strong enough to, when you see that your woman is going off, you need to, you need to stand up. Let's go back to the first time this happened, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3 and 6. It says, and the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Just like Sarah and Abraham. Sarah knew that it was wrong. Abraham knew that he was not supposed to be in interracial marriages. But guess what? Just because Sarah did gave it to him, told him, and whatever commanded him, he hearkened to the voice. Right? A lot of men who are leaders today are just really counseling with the wives, and this is why some things they teach, some things they don't teach, or so forth, because they have that wife beside them in their ears telling them what to do, or some things they'll know that is wrong, and they will still go with the wrong just because they cannot go against how their wives might feel. We have a lot of this today, right? So it is important that we stick with the wisdom of the Most High and don't do that deceiving thing, all right, whether by intent or unawares. Shalom.